Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tatiana Show. Today is June 12th, 2017, and if you tuned in today, you're in luck, because not only do we have Josh Shigala, who I adore. Wait, let's take a break. Josh, hello. How are you, my friend?
Tatiana. Good. I'm very, very good.
I'm happy to see you.
Yeah, you too. You too. It's been a while. And in the meantime, the whole crypto world's gone absolutely insane, like Lunu Lala land.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the bull run. I even convinced my dad to buy some Bitcoin. So I set him up with a Coinbase account. And then I found out that Coinbase sucks for the 450th time I found this out, because they were like, we were trying to enter in his account number and they're like, oh, sorry, you can't add in so many accounts within 24 period. And I'm like, we didn't even add one. And what was so frustrating was that I knew that that I wouldn't be able to get anybody to care for at least 2 weeks, because that's about the turnaround time that I get on my replies to my tickets. Yeah. So I wasn't actually intending on bashing Coinbase, but you know what? Honestly, it's a real disappointing service, and they need to get that feedback. And considering they have no place to actually give it in a way that gives me some satisfaction, since they never reply to my complaints, I'm doing it here on the Tatiana Show, calling out companies for having poor customer service.
They just actually posted a blog post recognizing and admitting that their service has gotten so popular that customer service has been a real challenge, and they laid out a bunch of steps that are going to try to address that. We'll see if that actually works.
I still burn with hatred for them. I do use their service. It's going to be a tight battle to the finish of whether or not I will love or hate them.
You know, they're going through a lot of the issues with services like Coinbase or any exchange. I mean, we see it as well. Is literally, when you have a massive scaling, you can scale servers, you can scale all this stuff, but to scale things like customer service is actually quite hard.
Especially in a really complicated industry like cryptocurrency. It's hard enough for anyone to understand, let alone customer service agents who have to have an even higher level of understanding to be able to explain it and solve problems and such.
Absolutely.
They take very high fees for me to use their service. I don't care about their little whiny crap. I'm sorry, but they've been a huge company since the very beginning. Get it together. They've had years and years and years to start providing people with something passable. Get some people in China, write me a little letter, get them for $2 an hour, go on Upwork. I mean, this isn't that complicated. I get it. It can be, but they've been nothing but offensive to their client base, in my opinion. I mean, their lack of respect for my time, for other people's time, the way you can't sell Bitcoins when the price is rushing. You can't do a lot of things most of the time on their site. I mean, it literally works how it's supposed to, maybe 30% of the time.
But tell us how you really
I hate that.
Tell us how you
Sorry,
really.
I think we just found Tatiana's new entrepreneurship opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm not even saying it's easy. I think it is a difficult business to run, but they have handled the difficult part.
I know we already have Tatiana coin, but I think now we need Tatiana base.
Tatiana base?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you know what? There might be a Tatiana base coming up soon, which is a whole other can of worms that was opened up this weekend. I'll tell you guys about it once I know more, but you would not believe the base. By the way, everybody, we're joined today by... Wait, I think we have to introduce Matt, because I like that he's chiming in, but I feel like a bad hostess. Everybody, this is Matt Phillips from the Free State Project. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good. So wait, Josh, what were you going to say? Sorry, I didn't mean to step on you, but I just felt really awkward.
No, I was saying, who is this handsome man here that we're interviewing?
Yes.
From the Free State Project. An amazing project, the Free State Project. If folks you haven't heard about it, it was, man, I've been following this Free State Project for, it must be 12 years now or more.
Is that how long it's been going on? Wow, that's a long effort.
Actually, Jason Sorens originally published in 2001 the article that said, hey, maybe instead of libertarians losing everywhere all the time, we should try to concentrate our efforts. And then
in one place.
And then by 2003, all the people who were like, yeah, that's a good idea, they got together, they looked at a bunch of different states, and they picked New Hampshire 2003. So it's been going since then.
Right on.
I like Free State Project. I don't like the cold. I will say, but I do like skiing, so it's a mixed bag. I'm really excited. I wish that you were coming, Josh. And And I know Matt will obviously be there as he's officiating, sort of. But there's Pork Fest coming up next weekend. So this weekend, I'm going to go sing at the Fee Convention down in Atlanta. And then I'm flying up to Boston. I'm getting up to Pork Fest a little bit early. I'm doing a talk about cryptocurrency. Me and Lynn are doing Art for Ross again. I'm doing a set. And actually, Ron Noyes is joining me because Jordan couldn't make it. But I was pretty excited because me and Ron have never played together. So that's really fun. But yeah, I'm really excited to be a part of it. So thanks, Matt. We've been promoting it and stuff. But maybe you can tell people who are kind of on the fence why Pork Fest is so awesome and why they should come.
Sure. So the Porcupine Freedom Festival, affectionately known as Pork Fest, pork like porcupine, although there's plenty of bacon. In fact, we have a pig roast on Saturday, is the annual summer event for the Free State Project. It's held at a campground in northern New Hampshire called Rogers Campground. Next week, June 21 through 24, that's Wednesday through Saturday. So that Sunday is sort of pack up and go home. We got a great lineup this year. Patrick Byrne, CEO of Overstock, is going to be keynoting on Saturday afternoon. We've got Darryl Perry, was the Libertarian Party presidential candidate, or one of them, last year, and is currently now the chair of the LPNH, the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire, which just last year got ballot access here in New Hampshire. You can actually register as a Libertarian in New Hampshire if you want. Will Coley of Muslims for Liberty, also a Libertarian Party vice presidential candidate, is going to be there. Judd Weiss, also a Libertarian Party vice presidential candidate, is going to be doing one of his photography classes, so you can learn to shoot like Judd, which is
great photographer, by the way, folks.
Oh, really? What day is he doing that? I've been meaning to. Oh, shoot. I got to order my camera back. Okay. You're reminding me because I left my camera with my friend in California.
So Thursday.
What day is he doing his thing?
He's doing it on Thursday, the 22nd, and it's $100. And he will spend, I think, about 6 hours teaching you all the tricks of the trade. He did one at his house in LA a couple of weekends ago, and some of the shots coming out of that were amazing, and people were really stoked. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but we couldn't get my camera to work, so I missed out, and that's why I just
discovered that the lens on my I just bought a new camera too, and the lens on mine I discovered is busted, so I just ordered another one on Amazon today. So,
all right.
So Ovens is going to be there too. Ovens O'Brien, up and coming libertarian feminist blogger, also photographer. Reason's bringing a few people: Robbie Suave, Elizabeth Nolan Brown, she and Vin Armani of Gigolo's fame and the Vin Armani podcast, The Vin Armani Show, and Bella Robinson, who's a noted sex work activist, are going to be doing a panel on sex work decrim. Bill for which has been introduced the last couple of years here in New Hampshire. I think that's going to be an exciting new area, a new front in the fight for liberty, especially here in New Hampshire. Connor Boyack of the Liberty Institute in Utah, also the author of the Tuttle Twins series of libertarian books for kids, is going to be there giving out a bunch of books. Dale Brown from the Threat Management Center in Detroit, Derek McGill from Praxis, Matt and Terry Kibbe from Free the People, Lynn Ulbricht, as you said, and of course, the very lovely Tatiana Moroz is going to be singing and talking.
Yeah, isn't Brian doing something with us too from Sovereign Tech?
Brian,
he's doing like a whole thing. I think he's doing a whole security thing, which I'm excited about because I always like getting tips on that. I don't really.
It's a moving target for sure, and it's something that everyone, even people who pretty much know what they're talking about, could always use some the latest info on.
Well, the thing with Brian that I like is that Brian knows how to speak Tatiana language, like in other words, human, right? And he doesn't only speak tech, and he's very funny and exciting, so it makes it less like a torture chamber.
Yeah.
So anyway,
there's a lot more. You can check out the full roster and all the activities. There's day-long activities for kids. You can check all that out at porcfest.com, porcfest.com. There's a Facebook group and a Twitter account. $80 for general admission, $150 for VIP. Kids are free.
What does VIP get you? I want to know. Well, there better be snacks.
VIP stands for Very Inspired Porcupine. And you do get an upgraded swag bag. You get access to the VIP tent, which has complimentary cocktails and beverages, and food too. I'm getting reminded by former PorcFest organizer. And then there's camping, there's a spot for RVs, there's a motel, and you can find out more about all that on the website.
Awesome. And there'll be art for Ross, everybody. So even if you're a bad artist, you can come and join us because there's no talent requirements. Although there's some really good, that we did art for Ross for the first time last year at PorcFest. So it's exciting to see it on the schedule. And I think everybody had a really good time. Maybe I'll play some songs. It'll be a good jam.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it.
Cool, great. So is there anything else you want to tell us? I know you're probably, were you in Africa? What are you doing there?
I just got back from Africa, which was actually a really fascinating trip.
I bet it sucked. I'm just kidding.
It was awesome just like for the safari, seeing all the animals and everything. But I was also visiting this conservancy that is working on basically like a new model where they're working with the local tribes people who own the land to try and get them a slice of the tourism dollars for the people that are coming to see the elephant, so that they're incentivized to protect the environment there and the animals and fight against the poachers, so that they are trying to create this like long-term sustainable capitalist model for conservancy, so that everybody's interests are aligned to protect the resources that we all agree that we want to have continue to exist. So I thought it was really fascinating from sort of a libertarian philosophical perspective about how to do something that people usually assume libertarians don't care about or don't know how to handle. So that was a really interesting thing to see.
Steve Irwin was doing a very similar thing in Australia when the late Steve Irwin, and he spent all of his wealth pretty much on buying up huge plots of land and making them conservation areas for and safe areas for native species in Australia. And it was always very inspiring to me, because people would always say, private, no, it's gonna, miners will come in. It's like, no, actually miners come into where the government owns the land and corruptly sells it off under the table because they don't care. It's not anything to do with them. They're not passionate about the land.
Right.
The Irwin family was absolutely passionate about the animals, the species, the land and the water in those areas, and has done a great job continuing after his death, keeping that legacy up. So I agree. It's great.
And in Africa, there's the ivory trade is really wiping out a lot of the animals there. And if anyone wants to learn more about that, there's a great documentary just came out called The Ivory Game, which goes into a lot of detail about it. And I've always sort of wondered as a libertarian, like, generally we shy away from having prohibitions against, doing anything. But in this case, rhinos are walking around with $500,000 worth of horn on their nose, and they can't recover. Like we would say, well, it should just be a free market and then people will farm them, but they don't grow that fast, and the stocks are already so depleted that I think in this case it might, banning is sort of like a short-term
solution,
stopgap
until we can, try to get a better handle with the technology against the poachers. And they're just fighting a losing battle right now.
Man, that's terrible.
This is something I also have a gripe with whaling. That the whalers go out there and they have these ships that fight the Japanese, and really I really think the only solution to this sort of problem is to privatize whales, to sell the whales. Groups like Greenpeace will pull together money from 1,000 people to buy a whale. The children of that whale also belong to you. Then you have a legal construct to say, look, these people shot my whale, and I'm going to take them to court and sue the hell out of them. Plus, and this is the same for rhinos and anything else. You could track them, and a bunch of people could own a rhino and the offspring, and you have an actual legal construct. And this is typical of the tragedy of the commons within economics, meaning that if no one owns these things, they're just fair game.
Right. The headline tomorrow will read, "Libertarian advocates slavery."
Yeah.
I like that idea, though. I think that's
Hashtag
a really innovative idea. One last plug for Vin. So I'm wearing Vin Armani's shirt. You can see. Can you see?
Peace, love, and anarchy equals happiness. I like it. Very good.
I got one of those shirts from him at Freedom Fest, or I'm sorry, at Anarchapulco.
Okay.
So where do people go to buy tickets to?
Oh, good point. Yeah. Where do they go?
Porkfest.com. Right up at the top says tickets, and you can click through and buy there, and also see the schedule and more information about how to get there and where to stay.
Awesome. All right, cool. Well, thanks very much, Matt. Good chatting, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah, definitely.
And if you know of anybody who's driving up on Tuesday from the Manchester area, please tell me. Side random note.
Hop onto the PorkFest Facebook group, and
I've been trolling around on there, but no luck so far. I don't know. Okay. Lynn will probably just grab me on the way. Anyway, all right. See y'all. See you later. Bye.
Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on.
Bye. I have my Litecoin chicken shirt on today.
That's really cool. Why is there a chicken holding a Litecoin?
Well, it's the Litecoin meme, the chicken. You know, it's just what
is it?
Yeah, it's been that since 2011.
You know, I bought my first Litecoin the other day.
Did you? All right.
Yeah, and I'm a very, very advanced person. I think it was based on you telling me so. So why is Litecoin cool? Tell me.
No, I just really like segregated witness. I think it's something that needs to happen, and allows a whole lot of technology, which millions of dollars of research and technology to jump into Bitcoin, and I'd like to see it launch on there. I mean, I'm not really a big Litecoin pumper or anything like that, but I just like I pulled this shirt out. I had this stuck in the cupboard there, so I pulled it out for today.
All right. Well, wait. So should I hold on to my Litecoin? I think I should buy some Zcash and maybe then some Zen Cash. I don't really know how that works, but we have a new guest today. Who's never been on the show. I met him a couple weeks ago at a consensus party while I was trying to not keel over. It was a hell of a week. But Rob Viglione, a good Italian boy from here in New Jersey. Actually, he's from Long Island, but we still like him here. Rob told me about their project, and it was very loud. But everybody that I talked to, I was like, so what's the Zen Cash thing? Is this legit? Is this another scam coin? They're like, oh, no, this is cool. Even the Zcash guys gave it the thumbs up. So for people who don't know anything about this, hopefully Rob will inform us about all of the latest technology and what they're working on and why it will help us. Most importantly. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe it is most important. I don't know. Rob, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here. But that's cool. Thank you for the intro, and I'm glad you were able to actually make it out, even though you were, you looked great. Let me tell you. But
thank you. I was quite sick. But as long as I look good, really. I mean, the coughing and the hacking, whatever.
Didn't notice at all. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, but you were a trooper. Thank you.
Oh, good. So tell me a little bit about what Zen Cash is. And actually, before we do that, because I have been meaning to have Zuko on, and I don't think that we have. Did we have Zuko on, Josh?
No, I don't think we have.
I would really like to, because everybody who I respect, including Brian Sovereign, who from Sovereign Tech, I know I'm like plugging him a lot today, but he's the oracle. I go to Brian and I say, is this cool? Is this fake? And he gives me good answers. And he really likes Zcash. And then he was telling me a little bit about Zencash. So before we do Zencash, explain to me what Zcash is, and then we'll segue.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So Zcash is the world's first implementation of the zero cash protocol. So like ZK snarks, the kind of typical term that people have probably heard.
I haven't heard. What does that mean?
Okay.
Because remember, some of our listeners are not crypto nerds. Only some of them.
Yeah, no. Yeah, so I mean, we all have a little inner nerd, but so ZK snarks.
It sounds like something out of a Dr. Seuss novel or something.
So here it is. Here's actually, I was just going through the white paper again. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a really cool white paper published in 2014 on zero cash. And it was an implementation on top of Bitcoin of basically a protocol that allows you to do transactions that you can prove are not double spends. So they exist. You can prove that they exist, but you can't see the sender, the receiver, or the amount. Think about that. When I first heard it, I was just wowed by the technology, thinking, this is the future. This is exactly what we needed.
Yeah.
Right. So So from this paper in 2014, Zuko, I think he should be all of our heroes, because he went into a deep dive effort to grab from these brilliant cryptographers their implementation and put it into code. So Zcash was the world's first implementation of the zero cash protocol. I mean, that's it. He basically created a way for us to obfuscate completely transactions, sender, receiver, amount. So it's kind of brilliant.
It's so important, and people, people constantly say, oh, but anonymous transactions would mean, terrorism and drugs and everything else. Now, what I tend to say to these people every single time is that, look, if you go to a shop, if you pay your landlord, do you want your landlord knowing how much you get paid? Do you want your landlord to know where you go shopping and what you buy? If you have a shop, do you want your customers to know where you buy your stock from and how much markup you're making? Do you want your competition to know how much you're paying your supplier or who your supplier is? No, money absolutely needs to be private. And I'm sick of using the word anonymous because that sounds really dark and awful. Private is like, it's a nice term and it's a normal term, and we should actually embrace it. And I think what you guys are doing with the Zcash snarks and Zcash and all these cryptos that are looking into obfuscating the amounts is golden and really good.
Yeah, and think about it from a humanitarian perspective. If you're a person in Venezuela and the government's depriving you of basic human rights, in my opinion, on an economic scale, and then you try to save help yourself and your family by getting Bitcoin, for instance, mining Bitcoin, and then that they're going to target you and crack down on you, and make you, in their eyes, a criminal. So if you think about it from just a humanitarian perspective, I mean, this technology is so necessary and so needed around the world.
It absolutely is.
Yeah. So how is Zencash different from Zcash? So you guys built something off of Zcash, and what is the differentiation? And then I have some other questions about the Zcash thing, because I guess they implemented it with Chase, which I was pretty surprised by. I was like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
And I was thinking that Jamie Dimon guy, or whatever his name is, he should be, I don't know, kind of forced to eat crow publicly. I think that would be really great.
Absolutely.
I want to tweet that article a bunch of times just so people remember.
Exactly. You should. I will too. I'll retweet you.
Okay, I'm on it.
But yeah, so I mean, what we're doing is we're trying to dashify Zcash.
Mm-hmm. Wait, dashify?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So we're taking what I think is awesome about Dash, like this big community. They have a treasury model where the master nodes are able to accumulate, or they have a voting process where users are actually able to vote on projects. So anyone can submit a project to the system, say, I want to do this for the project, the community, and then people get to vote on that. And then resources are allocated and it wants, it has consensus on. So really what we're trying to do is we're layering in that kind of treasury model. We're hoping to improve on it, but using the ZK snark technology. And then just from a philosophical perspective, I mean, I'm an anarcho-capitalist personally, and I want to see the world decentralized. So, that's kind of the goal. I'm viewing, us as targeting that market that, Zcash is now partnering with JP Morgan. You can see the market pivot that they're taking towards the enterprise customers, for better or worse, but that leaves a huge market void for those, who don't want to go in that direction.
In terms of, a lot of blockchains have an inherent scaling issue. How do you see that playing out in Zencash, or do you guys think, are you guys thinking forward about that? Because I think it's something that is inevitable in anything that succeeds in terms of blockchain tech. Yeah, I'd like to your opinion on that.
Absolutely. Right now, I wish we had a scaling problem. Our blocks aren't that full, compared to Bitcoin. But it's important to think about this stuff ahead of time and just grab the lessons learned from what we see out there. So, I can tell you it's definitely a part of our architecture. And the first solution that popped to mind was we want to be the first Zcoin with SegWit implemented so that we can eventually get on the Lightning Network. That right away would have been a really quick scaling solution. But I'll reserve those kind of architectural decisions for the community. It's not like my opinion, everything, right? So, but that's one path that's on our solution space, and so we're partnering up right now with guys a lot smarter than me on the technical side. So I'll definitely leave making to the overall group.
Great. And is there how's the distribution model? What's happening there? It's a mineable coin. Is it because there was a lot of with Zcash, there was some controversy in the fact that you had traditional investors investing in the team and the protocol beforehand, and then it was written into the protocol that these investors would be paid out every time there's a block mined. The miners would get some, but also these investors would get some.
Right. Yeah. So it's hard to bash them too much about that because, well, number one, we're leveraging the technology that they invested in and brought to market. So,
Yep.
And the reality is this is a completely free market, and in Zcash knows exactly what their model kind of came from the ZClassic community, and that's with Zen Cash, we're essentially a hard fork from ZClassic, and the reason we did that was because on ZClassic that was essentially 100% identical clone of Zcash,
Right?
Except for maybe I should say 98% clone, because we changed a few key parameters. We changed the founder's reward, that 20% reward diversion that went to the early investors, and we changed the slow start that we viewed. Initially Zcash started off with kind of an artificially slow emission rate on new coins, which people in the market figured was kind of like intentionally designed to boost the price. So the whole thing with ZClassic was we love the technology, we love the idea, but let's make it a more egalitarian version. All right, so that's where ZClassic was born. Where it was essentially a clone except for these controversial features. So ZClassic from the start was meant to be fully egalitarian, no pre-mine, anything silly like that, no ICO. Really just we start from scratch like any cryptocurrency should start, and everyone has a fair opportunity to grab some. And the reason we forked from ZClassic, and this is important, was we wanted to actually that same egalitarian distribution, but then in that community from ZClassic. So essentially, the hard fork from ZClassic meant that every ZClassic holder before the fork could redeem Zen. So so that was a really neat way to essentially port over the community in a really positive way to support what we were doing. And I think we've done a really good job with our community. I think that's the biggest attribute that we have. We have some really good, cool ideas, but I think the best thing that we have is a really supportive, grassroots community.
How do you know how many people are in the community? Because you know how many people have coins?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. You don't know for sure. We have metrics like, email subscriber list, Slack, number of Slack users, number of Telegram group users, things like that.
How do I buy Zencash if I want to diversify?
Yeah, so Bittrex is our partner exchange right now. Bittrex is where most of the volume happens. I love Bittrex, and not just because they're partnering with us, but they've done a really good job. I think they have a ton of credibility when it comes to security, and they've been one of the first, I think, great exchanges to really diversify into altcoins and really give us a chance. I have another smaller exchange called Trade Satoshi that lists Zencash, but there's plenty more to come in the pipeline.
Okay, cool. Josh, any questions? Oh, wait. Well, Rob, why are you interested in this? Where did you come from before you got into this project? I mean, were you a technologist earlier, or? What's the scoop?
So my background is actually, I was a military scientist, a physicist and mathematician. I was an officer there for Space Command. And I did like, the satellite radar work and rocket launch vehicles and all that kind of stuff. But then I went to the consulting side, and I was always just a huge fan of economics. I minored in that in college. So, I was doing this, science work, and then I was just kind of drifting off into this whole Milton Friedman world. And, it just started grabbing me and drawing me in further. So then I, in finance, and then just more consulting work. And then my PhD in finance, or, financial economics. So that's where I am now, kind of my evolutionary path. Probably the big thing for me was when I came across the market for liberty. I was always one of these like Milton Friedman style libertarians. For liberty was that moment where I thought, wow, okay, maybe this isn't an exact prescription for how the world will work, but hey, it's at least one alternative that could be real. You could actually have a fully voluntary world, and maybe we won't be there next year, but it's at least, it hit my head as, this could be a possibility. So just start working in that direction.
Definitely. In terms of the DAO, because I found that what I find really fascinating is this whole ability for people to stake in a project by holding some coins. And like you were mentioning, let's say I want to start a radio show that promotes, that just talks about Zen Cash, or or start I don't know, some sort of marketing campaign. Then I can submit that proposal to this decentralized group of people that are also totally anonymous or private, and then those people will vote on how much block rewards should be given every month or every block or whatever to that project. And I think it's just such a fantastic way of grouping people together and building on a decentralized governance model. I find it so fascinating. Does it work exactly the same as Dash, or is there tweaks that you guys have made?
So I'll tell you, I absolutely love this concept of a DAO. I'm just fascinated with the idea that, like you said, you can just decentralize this decision-making process and get. We're not there yet with Zen Cash. So in our white paper, we laid out a plan to get there. So we launched with essentially kind of launched like a small startup company saying we're going to build this technology and here's the path we're going. Kind of like a team of people that make those allocation decisions. We're somewhat like a temporary trust group, for instance, of to be 100% decentralized. That's our big rush right now for our technology growth path, but we're not there. So everyone should know that, it's the people that you're putting your faith in. Like I'm one of them, and we have some other really awesome people out there who are senior members of the project that for at least the next 6 months we'll be making those decisions as we build out that fully decentralized voting process. But I'll say we're going to basically do like how do I say this? It's kind of like a hodgepodge, just down and dirty way for people to submit voting, proposals for us to the community for feedback. But the people actually making the decisions will be kind of like the core group of founders.
Yeah.
Where are you guys all based out of? Like, where are you based? And where is everybody kind of like remote, I guess, as most projects sort of seem to be?
Yeah, I mean, our goal is to be global from the start. So, but I mean, in the crypto world, there's just such a heavy U.S. Focus, U.S. and Europe. So that's where a lot of our team is. I'm in South Carolina right now. We have team members in New York, Colorado. Where else? We have one of our founders is in China right now, but she's an American there, but we're trying to focus on the Asian market as well. So yeah, I mean, we're all over, I guess.
Cool. Very good. Do you think everybody else there is kind of ideologically driven? Do you think that's why people get involved with Zencash, because they sort of have that kind of ethos?
Yeah, so for a lot of these projects, that's how it starts. You have a group of people that with similar values. They're not going to be exactly the same, right? Maybe I'm the only anarcho-capitalist for all I know. I try not to, put my philosophy in people's faces, right? Until I hear them say something crazy, like, using violence on other people. But but as someone who really believes in freedom, and I don't just say it as a punchline, I think that everyone should be free to have their own beliefs, and I'm perfectly happy to work with anyone. I'm perfectly happy to work with Janet Yellen or Ben Bernanke on, you're collaborating with us on what kind of policies we should have, but they're not going to have any more authority than anyone else, right? So I'm willing to sit down with anyone and work with them, so long as they're not able to influence force or something like that to coerce us to do something. So I think that's how these projects start. They start with people who are like-minded. They attract in an early community people who are, it's maybe like a concentric circle. The broader your community gets, maybe the more diluted the philosophical mix becomes. But that's not always a bad thing.
The technology protects it. The technology is really the statement, right? It is the implementation of the philosophy, and then maybe other people can learn about it. Are you guys doing anything to kind of educate non-crypto people about your project? Like, where are you guys going in terms of letting people know about it?
Well, there's this really cool podcast called the Tatiana Show. So I figured that would be
awesome. Good answer. Very good.
I like the fact that you haven't gone for an ICO, because ICOs right now, they're really, for me, they're an absolute la-la land. You're seeing projects that don't even have they just have some really sketchy white paper, but a really beautiful website, and people just dump into this stuff. What I like, though, is that the DAO concept allows for the developers to continue having an income stream to develop through the blockchain, paying the developers to continue upgrading and working on this stuff. Saying that, I think there are some really good ICOs, and I do like the idea of an ICO. I just think right now it's out of control.
No, I totally agree with you. That's something that philosophically we started with that idea, but there's no way we're doing an ICO. And there's not like there's something inherently wrong with ICOs. The problem is that there's just a lot of noise, and it's hard to figure out the signal in the space, right? Teasing those things apart. And I'm all for 100% free markets, but this is a very new market, and there's going to be a lot of hype and a lot of like information asymmetry, basically, where people don't know what's real, what's legitimate. It's hard enough even if you were presented with a list of 10 really good projects to figure out which one of those will be successful, right? Yeah. So it's hard, even in the best of information environments. And this is just such a cluttered information environment. I think what would be really cool to see, and if I had more time, I would love to work on something like this, but just some sort of like independent, screening service where you can just provide, kind of deep down research on different ICO projects and provide, in a way, like a free market validation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thing.
Absolutely.
I think would be great.
Great.
So,
but the blockchain is paying the developers. Is that how?
Yeah, exactly. So that's the thought. Is at the core, you have to maintain the blockchain, and then you want to grow it out, add features, and all that. Then you want to do other projects around that. Like obviously wallets, integrate with other hardware devices, and then you have community projects. You want to do marketing, outreach. And there's plenty of other ideas. Like I personally would love to do something like a random draw on like just what do you call that? Kind of like random act of kindness, like random act of we're just picking someone from random and giving them something. I would love to do something like that. So maybe I'll submit a proposal like that to the DAO. right? So, but I mean, we have our needs, and the initial needs are we have a lot of development work ahead of us. So that's where a lot of the resources are going.
Yep, understand. But it sounds like a really interesting project. I'll have to check it out more.
Are you guys having any presents at PorcFest?
I wish. You know, I was just thinking about that. I know. I wish I'd planned this, but you know, we just launched 2 weeks ago, so you know, we're kind of getting on our feet.
Yeah, but you have to have like a person. If there was ever a place that is going to go for this, they should send you or someone from the team to come and hang out with us up in New Hampshire. Because if there was ever a place where there's like the foundation, I think PorcFest is one of the defining events of the year, without a doubt, of anarchists, of any, you know, I mean, Freedom Fest is kind of like neocons that like maybe a little tiny bit of liberty, but, and you know, I like Freedom Fest too, I'm performing there, but, you know, PorcFest has got a lot of soul. So regardless, I'll tell people about it, and I'll send them to this website. So I will
I'm gonna
boots on the ground.
I'm gonna try. Yeah, no, I'll tell you right now. I'm gonna try to go. So.
Very wise decision. Josh, come on, buddy, get in there.
I know. Yeah, I wish.
I'm just telling you, Josh. In fee, I have an extra bed in my hotel. I don't know about what's going on at PorcFest, but anyway. All right, fine. Now that I've invited everyone on my show to all my upcoming events, we should probably give it a wrap. Rob, is there anything else you want to tell people? Like, where should they go? How can they find out more and get involved?
Yeah, so I guess the first step is you can check out our website, zensystem.io, and then from there, there's a whole bunch of ways to participate. The Slack channel is extremely active. We're always there. You know, reach out on Twitter, reach out on any of the other message boards, our forum. Our community is awesome, so you'll find out pretty quickly once you're there. You know, we've kind of muted not censored, mind you, but we don't have too many trolls that are attacking us at the moment. So we have a lot of really cool people on there, just happy to help. I hate the trolls. I didn't even know what trolls were until I got into crypto, and now I know, unfortunately. Not that I get trolled, but I don't know. It seems like a crappy attitude to have. All right. Well, thanks very much, Rob, for coming on. Thank you to Matt for telling us again about porcfest.com, where you can get all your tickets and everything. Heads up and hats off, I guess, to our sponsors, the bitcoincpa.com. Kirk has been holy cannoli. That guy has the patience of a saint to be putting up with my books. Cryptocompare.com. Those guys are awesome. You can get all your crypto information right there, even for new people. You won't get all lost and tortured. Freeross.org. Everybody shows love to everybody's favorite pirate in prison. He's not a pirate, and he shouldn't be in prison. And you can find out more at freeross.org.
Check out the film on Netflix.
What? Yes, there's the Deep Web movie, which is a very good movie. My girl, Pamela Morgan, brilliant, great writer at thirdkey.solutions. Sovereign Tech, friends of the show, Sex and Science Hour, always a good laugh. That's not like, you know, overly technical, but it still feels like your brain is getting some kind of stimulation and maybe other parts considering the title. I love Don and Justin. They're a great team over there. And Voltoro. We love you, Voltoro. Get your gold, sell it for Bitcoin, whenever you want. Just go in and out, however you want it. And
it's happening like crazy at the moment. Oh my God, people are chucking money into gold because there's just
I got to do that. I got to get some gold.
So high,
I have to
people
be
are
responsible.
taking profits off without going back to fiat. That's wonderful.
We should figure out how to do a screen share, and you should walk me through it one day, Josh, but not today. Cryptomediahub.com, my company. We do PR, marketing, events. We hold your hand in the crypto space. And of course, everybody should go out and buy my new record, Keep the Faith, the best record you will ever hear, except for my other two. And probably a whole bunch of other records.
Where do I go right now, Tatiana? Where do I go to buy that?
People should get it from you directly, because if they buy like a physical CD, I can autograph it for them. But they can get it on my website, TatianaMoroz.com. They can go to iTunes. They can go to Amazon. They can go and listen on Spotify. I'm all over the place. And if you want to preview it, you can listen to it on SoundCloud or YouTube. And then you don't have to buy it right away. You can check it out. But I'd appreciate it if people gave me some money.
And if you buy it, do you get some Tatiana coin with it, or can you buy it? How does that work?
You know what? So about Tatiana coin, I'm so excited about it, and I got these really cool tokens. I'm going to give them out at PorcFest, but I want to start giving away a little bit of Tatiana coin with any purchase, so this way I can kind of incentivize people to try out the system. But Tokenly, we just took on a new advisor who I adore and think is awesome. So we dialed back the launch for a couple weeks more, and you know how that goes with tech stuff. But I think it's going to be good in the long term. So I don't want to onboard anybody too hard until we're ready for them. But yes, people can now get Tatiana coins, and they can use them to buy stuff. But the features that I'm really looking to share with everybody, you know, being able to communicate with them, create your own community, they're in the pipeline. I don't know. I mean, I ask every day when they're going to be ready. I would say within a month or two at the most, but who knows?
Right on, right on. Oh, great.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Mwah, hugs and kisses. See y'all at FEE convention down in Atlanta. Meet me up at PorcFest. Freedom Fest is coming up. I'll be there too. So thanks for coming on the show, and I'll talk to y'all later.
Peace out.
Thank you.
Later.